Well, hey there, welcome back to Peaks Peak. My name's Lucas. We're sharing our hobbies on 38 acres in eastern Kentucky, and today we're talking about a pond. And guys, we're actually talking about problems with ponds and leaks, because if I know 10 people that have farm ponds on their property, I know 8 people that have farm ponds that leak or lose water in the summer, and they worry about it. And I'm one of those. And we've tried some different things to address that problem, but I'm going to tell you why, at least in some cases, it's nothing to worry about. So guys, today I really wanted to just give an update on our pond, because we have had our pond for over 4 years now. It was built in August of 2019. It has been full for 4 years, and it has been stocked for over 3 years. We have just an absolutely beautiful setting here. But every single summer, the water level drops at least 3 feet, sometimes 5 or 6 feet. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you, so that I don't waste a bunch of people's time, is part of what makes our leak or our losing water in the summer okay is the fact that this is a deep pond, like 16 or 18 feet deep in the middle. Since the very first summer that we had a full pond, we have figured out that the water level drops a ½ inch to 1 inch every day. If we don't get rain to fill it back up, it just continues to drop until it reaches a certain level of about 5 or 6 feet low. That's the lowest we've ever seen, and I don't know if that's because it finally reaches a point where the water's not leaking out anymore, so the leak is above that level, or if it's just a matter of we've never gone long enough without rain for it to get below that point. But either way, it's enough that we lose a lot of water. It's not nearly this pretty when the water level is low, and that's why it bothers me. I have tried solutions to get it to hold water. Like we spent about $750 on some solution that you use a trash pump and you mix it with water and pump it in here, and that solution spreads out, and it's supposed to sink down into the cracks and swell and seal the leaks. Well, I didn't notice a bit of difference after applying that product. So that was basically like pumping $750 down the drain. But you know, when you want something to be as good as it can be, sometimes it's worth it to try some things to do that. Now, I have made videos where I talked about what we would have, could have, should have done differently when we dug this pond to avoid this problem. And, you know, solutions like making sure we had plenty of clay to line the bottom before it fills and pack that in real good and all that. But ultimately, we did what we could afford to do, and our end product I'm pretty satisfied with overall. One of the things that I think probably contributes to our leaks is the fact that the water level comes up here and it comes back in this cove right here. And we've got standing timber, and we have great big rocks, like this one that I'm standing on out here in the water. And you can see the rocks that are lining the bank. And of course, those same rocks are underneath the water here, which means that this whole area is not covered with clay. And there's a very good possibility that there are layered rocks, sandstone, whatever, that is allowing the water to creep down the crevices. We are at 760 foot of elevation where this pond is dug. My house is at 500 foot of elevation. So we're way up high. We have no spring feeding the pond, so it is not going to fill itself back up. It is completely filled by runoff from the property that surrounds it. Now, it fills up good. I mean, we have rainstorms that sometimes will add a foot of water to the water level. So we have plenty of watershed to feed this pond, but we need it because the water level drops when we don't get much rain. Now, here's why I'm going to tell you that I have decided, at least in our circumstances, that our leak just doesn't matter. And that is because our pond is 16 or 18 feet deep when it's full, we can lose quite a bit of water and still have solid depth. we have a nice population of catfish, bluegill, red ear, and largemouth bass in this pond, as well as fathead minnows. Everything seems to be pretty healthy and growing. So when the water level drops, there's still plenty of water in here to keep those fish healthy. And that's really my main concern. I mean, obviously, I want it to be as pretty as it can be, but the majority of the year it is. I mean, look how beautiful this is. But in the summertime, it drops, and that's just become a fact of life for us in owning this pond. And I have decided that it's just okay, because if we were going to fix this and make sure that we didn't lose any water anymore, well, there really only are a couple of solutions. The first solution would be to completely drain this pond, have red clay hauled in, a sheep's foot roller, and some more digging equipment, and they just completely line everything with that red clay and roll it in real good with that roller. I'm guessing that would stop the leak. I'm also guessing that would cost me $20,000 or more to have it done. We would be another year without our pond, and all of our fish population would be gone, and we would be starting over. So to me, that's not just an option that I'm going to consider, because one, I don't want to kill all of those fish. And there might be a way that you could save most of them, but not a practical way. It would be difficult, and that would probably add to the expense. So the fish are one of the reasons why I'm just willing to let nature take its course here. And if the water level goes down in the summer, well, the water level goes down in the summer. I've had many people comment that over the years, their ponds have fixed themselves by leaves falling in it and silt working its way into it, and it just gradually seals itself up to where it loses less and less water. Now, I don't know if that will happen for us, because like I said, we're going on our 5th year in this pond, and it still seems to kind of lose water at the same pace that it always did. So that is what it is. The other possible solution to us losing water level in the summer is that we dig or have dug a well to where we can pump water into this, keep it topped off by running the pump. The major reason why that's not already happened for us is because we don't have power up here other than a little bit of solar power. And it would take quite a bit of power to run a solar pump that is strong enough to pump water from as deep as it must be at this elevation and fill this pond. So I don't even know how to put a guess on what that would cost us, but I can't imagine that we could do it for any less than the cost of draining it and packing it in better. I'm guessing $15,000, $20,000 on that as well. And then the everyday costs of powering the pump to keep it full. Now that is something I would love to do. So if we ever get set up here where we have full on electricity, where it could be affordable for me to put in a well pump and pump water into this thing during the dry times of the summer, I would probably do that, because the fact of the matter is, it's not like a waste of water or anything, because the water that's leaking out of this, I'm sure, is going down into the aquifer, if that's what you call it, or the water table. So we basically would just be cycling it back up and paying for that process of keeping it up here. I don't know if that's feasible or not. If you have experience with a well pump and keeping a pond topped off, let me know. Ultimately, I know that after 5 years of cycling like this, that we have beautiful clear water and healthy fish. So I'm not really that worried about it. I like to talk about it because I like for people to know that they're not alone when they're concerned about their farm pond. You spend a lot of money to have this dirt work done and have a pond put in, and then it doesn't stay full. That's disappointing. And I definitely was disappointed when we discovered that. But after having this for years and seeing how it cycles and just knowing what product we have to get out here and enjoy for the majority of the year, I'm satisfied. So I'm telling myself, or trying to convince myself, that don't worry about it. It is what it is. Enjoy the positives of what you have, and maybe one day down the road, if finances allow it and the right idea comes along, we can better the pond that we have. But it sure is pretty nice just the way it is too. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, getting a little update on our pond and get to see how pretty it is in the fall. Until next time, you get outside and enjoy God's creation because it's beautiful out here. And y'all have a good day.